currently on the phone with Chaz Cordova. He's another musician that reached out about the interview session. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a chance to introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Chaz Cordova, and I am the founder and music director and main arranger for a corporate event, business, dance band called Cordova. I've been doing this for about 13 months now, and just looking forward to booking a lot of shows and making a lot of money, and that's pretty it. That's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 13 months. I do this full time. I'm full time at this for many, many years. And so this is currently my current project. Can we redo that and you could edit that out?
So moving forward, tell me about how you kind of first got into music and what about it was inspiring and important to you.
Well, I actually come from a musical family. Both my dad's parents and my mom's side of the family have musicians or music at some point in time. My dad's mom, my grandmother, was a piano player, a piano instructor, and so I grew up with music always in the house and just gravitated toward it, felt like this is what I was born to do. And I caught that sight when I was about 5 or 6 years old. So I figured the plan was already set forth for me what to do career wise. And so I love music, all kinds of music. But that's my grandmother was the biggest inspiration for me to move forward in my career.
So what do you think was the moment when you kind of realized that you were going to start learning an instrument as well?
I had an opportunity back in the 1960s. The public schools had free music programs where you could take lessons on certain instruments, and my dad signed me up for violin lessons, and so it kind of started from there. And I played violin for 5 years through junior high school, and then during that time, I also picked up guitar, a six-string guitar, and then a few years later picked up on bass guitar. So that's where it started, and I've never really looked back.
Okay, so you decided that you were going to play bass. How did you kind of begin to learn?
Well, I decided to play guitar first. My dad was married to a woman who had a guitar, and it just sat in the closet, and I would sneak in the closet. I guess I was about, I don't know, fifth grade or so. Puts me, I don't know what age, 11. I forget what it is now, but and I would sneak in there and play her guitar, and I always would get caught and get in trouble doing it. But it's like, well, I enjoyed it so much. Dad finally bought me a guitar, an acoustic guitar to start playing. So he saw I wasn't going to give up just because I got in trouble.
Sure. So how long do you think that kind of went on before you were more open with it and then also started playing with like other musicians?
Well, I started playing in groups when I was actually in fifth or sixth grade. They would do a citywide concert, and so that was the first experience playing in a group situation. And then as time went on, during my early teens, as I got playing more, I got together with friends and we would just jam out. And so, and then my friends would ask me to teach them how to play certain parts of music. I've always had a great ear also, and I could pick out parts. So that's what got me interested in playing the guitar even more, and even the bass part. So, and I played drums as a kid and played percussion in college too. So I've done a lot of things. But in groups, it started in my early teens.
Okay, and then once you kind of moved into college, you mentioned that you started playing drums. Is that kind of when you?
I was a little kid when I played drums, but I played percussion in junior college.
So do you mean like in like concert band, or was it more of like?
Yeah, I played it in concert band, then I played guitar one year in the jazz band, and then the following year I played bass guitar in the jazz band.
Okay, so you kind of filled out pretty much every position that you could really get into.
Yeah, they needed a bass player for jazz band, and I was teaching that instrument at a music store, and I told the guy that, well, if you need somebody to play bass, I can play bass because I teach it. The guy that was playing bass couldn't read the music, so he had to bow out.
And were you teaching bass while you were in college then?
I was teaching guitar and bass, and also on occasion when the drum teacher wasn't there, uh, the owner of the store asked me to teach the drums and percussion also.
Awesome. So, with that information, how did you kind of approach getting into, what your ideal lineup for a band is? Is it like more of a contemporary rock band kind of thing, or define what that looks like in your vision?
Well, uh, I can tell you that I grew up on Motown, soul, funk, and rhythm and blues during the 60s and the 70s. And of course, a doo wop. Having parents, I was born in the late 50s, so I got to hear that music also. But I gravitated toward that style of music, and I currently, with my band, that's what I specialize in. My band specializes in Motown, soul, funk, rhythm, and blues. Disco came out in the mid 70s. I ended up playing that. So we primarily play that as well as some other stuff like pop and jazz and Latin and some blues.
Okay. So, tell me about the period of time between, kind of getting out of college, finding your feet on your own, and then getting up to like where we are now. What happened in those interim times to keep you engaged in music, and then also start your company?
Well, I had a friend that I was in class with in senior high school, and we hit it off, and we would just get together and jam at one of his buddies' house. And so a band came of that right out of high school, and just started booking gigs and making money. We were really pretty good at that point in time because all of us started so young playing. And so I just started getting paid, making music and playing music at an early age. And then it just took off from there. When I was in junior college, I was recruited by somebody to play guitar for their band. And then we had a set where we played jazz, and the guy that played bass was a phenomenal multi instrumentalist, guitar being another instrument. So we would switch off on that instrument. I would play bass, and he would play guitar. And then we traveled throughout the Midwest, and it just went from there. I would move to different areas. I had moved to Florida for a period of time, and did a number of projects there. If you want to talk about that, we can do that. But basically, just right out of high school, just started getting out and playing and making money, even though we all had 9 to 5 jobs. We still get out on the weekend and make money doing that.
Yeah. So you mentioned moving down to Florida and then being in bands and stuff there. Was the motivation there to just go down there and participate in the music scene in down there, or was there another reason you went down there?
No, I actually ended up married, and my wife at that time, I knew a bunch of people. She had moved back to Indiana, and I met her through a mutual friend. And so I wasn't doing anything, and she asked about us moving down there. So I did that and went down to another junior college down there. And while I was there, I got involved in their music program, which opened up a lot of possibilities. And then I mean, I really did a lot while I was down there. Uh, Besides just playing guitar and bass. So I got into it more specifically, more full time with doing recording and mixing and mastering, and so one thing led to another. I ended up opening up a recording facility. People would hear my work and want me to, ask me if I would mix their stuff or record them, and I would do that. And just word of mouth spread like wildfire, and I ended up doing that for 18 years, on top of also being a session player and a live musician going out and doing gigs on both guitar and bass as well.
Awesome. So is that kind of how you also opened your event business? I believe is how you described that.
My corporate band that I have now,
Yeah.
well, I played for a number of show bands and smaller uh, 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 band configurations, and I ended up having to close my doors of my recording studio when the recession hit in 2008. I ended up moving to Kansas City in late 2009 and had a mutual friend that I grew up with. And then he would take me around to the jams in around the Kansas City metro area. And I got to meet a bunch of people, and then I was recruited to play either guitar or bass. And that's how I ended up doing that. But I played for a number of show bands. In my last 8 months, when I was in Florida, I lived in Tampa and Temple Terrace, Florida. I was recruited to do a fill in on guitar and bass, and I was doing the guitar bit for this guy, and he liked my playing so well, he offered me the position full time. I knew his guitar player and his keyboard player, but I didn't know his guitar player was going to be leaving the state. So he said, "Well, I need a guitar player, and the job's yours if you want to do it." And little did I know who this artist was. He was one of the members of a band called Soul Brothers Six. They were signed to Atlantic Records in the '60s, and he ended up being the front vocalist for a song, the "Some Kind of Wonderful," and which is a very popular song. It's been widely recorded throughout the years. But I played for the guy that actually recorded the initial release of the tune. And then at a gig in St. Petersburg, Florida, one night, I met the guy who actually wrote that song, who was the founder of Soul Brothers 5. And then when they brought on Lester, the front guy, they became Soul Brothers 6. So I ended up also meeting the guy who wrote that song. So I've had an opportunity throughout the years to play for two legendary artists. Not that that's anything take away from people that I have played with. I've been blessed to play with a number of extremely talented musicians.
Well, is that the project that you're currently playing with then? Is the Soul Brother 6?
The project I'm currently on is I was just burned out playing blues and going to the blues jams and playing for the groups, and I wanted to really get back to my roots, which is what I have a lot of experience playing. And started looking for bands, and just was nothing was a good fit for me. And so the guys that I knew, they would just say, "Well, just put your own band together." I wasn't really wanting to do that, but I thought, well, I've been in bands that have done a lot of things wrong and being on the receiving end of that bad decision making and all. And I thought, well, I can have total control over everything that way. So I decided to do that. Now, little did I know how hard it would be putting a large horn band together. But it's very rewarding when the gigs are coming out, and that has led to a number of really big gigs that I've been able to do. I've traveled, I've toured, um, and so I've got another door that has recently opened to me that I'm pursuing now, and so doors just keep opening up.
That's a good way to be. Better that they open than close.
Right. Well, sometimes you have to close some doors when the bigger ones open up for you, but that's okay. I've never burned any bridges at all, so I still have a great relationship with the people that I played with and for in the past.
Hey, well, on that note, what are some of your favorite memories that you have that, have stuck with you all this time and to this day are keeping you motivated to just keep opening doors?
Wow. I can't put my finger on one of them because I've been doing this for over 45 years, and there have been a number of things, uh, festivals and big conventions and corporate events, and just the crowds have just been wonderful. And the doors they just open. I think the one of the most memorable ones was when I was playing bass for a country band, and we were playing in this little hole in the wall place uh, in I don't know, it wasn't Independence, Grandview, I forget where it was. It was outside Kansas City, but in the metro area. And there was really not a lot of people there. It was a very small place, very intimate, probably a dozen or so people there. And it was a very intimate setting. And we all just complimented throughout the years, even still talk about it when we talk to each other about how great a gig that was, even though there wasn't many people there. It was just the setting. It wasn't a loud sounding gig and almost acoustic like. And that was one of the most favorite gigs that I can remember playing. But then I have some other ones to larger crowds that we played also. And like I said, for 45 years, you play for a lot of people and in different situations. But that one particular one will always stick with me as one of my favorite. Even though we're in not a lot of people, but it was just the setting. The people were great, very inviting, very attentive too, and they really tipped well,
All
believe it
right.
or not.
Well, so where can people find your projects and check you out and listen to you?
Well, I'm not really a public band. I don't have a public band because we do the private events. But we will be showcasing a new band. I'm putting together a brand new band now, and that's in the works currently. It's not completely together. I'm revamping some things because of some other bigger doors and opportunities opening up. But we will be showcasing the band around the metro area at some point in time. The band website is cordovaband.com, and because of revamping the band, we're also revamping the website. So if anybody's out there is interested, they could still go out to cordovaband.com, put in your name and your email, and then we'll let you know when we're up and going again with the new site. And our gigs will be posted there starting from 2024 on.
All right, I'll definitely make sure that that gets tagged and everything. So I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So what's a message you believe in that you think other people should hear as well?
Well, regardless in life, be who you are. Don't allow someone to force you or try to force you to become someone you're not. Be true to who you are, regardless of what business you're in. The music business is a very, very difficult business to be in. It's not for the faint of heart. Don't give up on your talent if you're a musician, and just networking and do whatever you can to stay active in it. And that's pretty much just life in general. So be true to who you are. If you don't like what you're doing, then find what you like doing and do it.